So you're thinking of renting a car in Playa del Carmen, and you're probably a little concerned about all of those reviews you've read, as well as what it's like to drive down here. So we've done it 3 times in the last 2 months. We're going to give you some insider tips, where to go, and things to look out for while you're driving around town. So renting a car in Playa del Carmen might be a little different than doing it at the Cancun airport. And here's some things you need to think about. Most people arrive at Cancun for their vacation. If you want to have a car for your entire vacation, then you might choose to rent from here. But be aware that there will be tourist prices and selection will depend on demand, especially during the high season. If you're renting for just a few days while on vacation, then you will most likely rent from your destination. Cancun and Playa del Carmen have many car rental places to rent from. Cozumel has many small agencies to rent from to cruise around the island since most people take the ferry over, but Tulum only has a few options for renting cars right now. While renting, there are a lot of local name brands as well as franchisees of recognizable international brands to choose from. Local car rental companies, they tend to be cheaper, but they often have older cars. We have rented a car 3 times in Playa del Carmen, once from National and the 2 other times from Budget, located directly in the tourist zone on 10th Avenue. Overall, we found that the prices were about the same, ranging from about $100 to $150 Canadian per day, so that's roughly $100 to $125 US, but the selection was different. As they catered to tourists, Budget had a better selection of newer cars that were a little less beat up. Try to keep in mind holidays and long weekends and the busy season when the demand for cars goes up and therefore the prices might be slightly higher. When renting a car, pick the class of car based on your needs, not what you're used to driving at home. The streets and parking spots in Mexico are small and tight, so if you can get by with a smaller car, the better the driving experience will be for you. We had chosen a mid-sized car each time as we had to move some furniture as well as pick up family and luggage from the airport.
Which fancy car did we end up getting?
We ended up getting I didn't ask for a fancy car, I said mid-size. Now, depending on where you are in the world.
Which non-fancy mid-size car did we get?
A Renault Duster.
Oh yeah!
It had a few miles on it and it was a little beaten up. But you got to keep in mind, in Playa del Carmen, a lot of cars are beaten up. So you don't want to be driving a pristine car around here anyway. It ain't a show-off kind of place where your car's going to get you anywhere, other than probably some undue attention. So take the average car and enjoy your time. So this is our 3rd car rental from Carlos over at Budget on 10th Avenue. We have a Volkswagen Tiguan midsize SUV, which if you do the math, is about $100 US a day, 125 Canadian. Full coverage, everything. That way you don't even have to worry about that walk around and taking pictures. It's covered anyway, so highly recommend you do it. If you're booking online, don't expect that's going to be the price that you're quoted when you get there. There's always extra insurance, and that is worldwide. That's not a Playa del Carmen thing or a Mexico thing. A lot of people think their credit cards will cover their insurance, and that might be the case, but you have to look at, is it North America only? Is it in Europe? Depends on the part of the world, and you really need to check that out with your credit card company. The other thing too is, even if your credit card company does cover some of the insurance, until they resolve, let's say you get into an accident and the credit card company ends up paying out, you're still on the hook. So they're gonna take that money off your credit card for a pretty significant value, and it could be in the $5,000 to $10,000 range. Again, that depends on jurisdiction. So my advice, don't be cheap. Count on spending, double whatever you're quoted when you're booking a car online. Driving laws versus driving culture. The laws might say one thing, but it's a little different. Don't expect people to react and act the same way that they do in whatever country you're coming from. There's no right of way for pedestrians here, and people just kind of drive, and you have to accept the fact that it's a little bit different. It's an adjustment period.
Instead of driving Mexico, you have to be confident, competent, and pay attention.
Don't expect to get the right of way. Don't expect people to allow you to merge. they will just sit in that lane no matter what speed they're doing, and so you have to be a little more aggressive to get in, but don't think they're going to stop for you, because you'll find out the hard way they won't. So one thing to know when you're getting gas, it is all full serve here. Recommend you get out of your vehicle as you park and go over and talk to the guy. There have been reports of some scams that happen where they don't reset the fuel pump to 0. So it looks like you're full, but it's actually tacking on to somebody else's amount and they keep the money. Of course, that's going to be the same anywhere. There's always going to be challenges where people are trying to rip you off, but do understand that when you are filling up with gas, you may want to get out. Also, tip the guys too. You know, they don't make a lot of money. That'll surely help as well. So in Mexico and Playa del Carmen, you will see a lot of police vehicles. There's a lot of police presence, and they always have their lights flashing. So when you're driving, doesn't necessarily mean pull out of the way. I'm not quite sure what it means because they're always on. Just be cognizant, maybe move out of the way if they are behind you. Or you might end up like this poor guy who, if anybody's looking for this guy, he's in the back of the police truck going someplace. In Mexico, you're going to see a lot of things called retorno, R-E-T-O-R-N-O. This is how you get to the other side of the street, basically turn around. So you're going to drive past a lot of your destinations. You're going to use a retorno to come back down the highway to get to your destination. They're a little bit dangerous because sometimes people line up 2-3 cars wide on them, and you're sometimes going into highway speed traffic. So just be aware of those, that you will have to use those quite frequently while driving the Riviera Maya. This is a retorno with cars going everywhere. So you got another taxi over there turning left. You got these two guys going that way. Everybody's going in different directions all at the same time. There's everybody else. Well, like, that's all you need. One of the things that you'll find is the infrastructure is great in certain parts of Playa del Carmen. We're in Playa Car right now. And Playa Car, as you can see, the streets are actually interlocked. It's a beautiful neighborhood, and they have these wonderful things called topes, which come in a variety of forms. In Playa Car, you'll find that they're actually very well marked and painted, and it's kept up. That's a gated community. However, throughout Playa del Carmen, you will randomly come across massive bumps in the road out of nowhere. Topes! 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 Topes!
What was that?
Topes everywhere. You'll start to learn them as you drive around the city, where they are and what they do, but just be very aware of these giant topes that go either up or sometimes they go down, like these ones. When parking in Playa, you want to park where there are white curbs, not yellow. And you're going to be looking for that sign behind you there with the little pan going into the till. And on those, you will find that it's a license plate. So take the license plate, you put your license plate in, and you then pay for parking. You do need to have a minimum 10 peso coin. 5 pesos will just go right back through. Learned that the hard way. But make sure you look at the map on the actual terminal itself, because the map will show you which streets it covers. You want to make sure you get the right map, otherwise you'll get a boot on your car, and you got to pay to get it off.
So it goes by block?
By block, yeah. By block. Well, I don't know if it goes by block, I'm assuming. So look on the map. Myrna. Look on the map and make sure that your area is on the map on the terminal that you're paying.
Thanks, Neil.
So thanks for paying attention to our 3 times we've rented a car down here in Playa del Carmen. Hopefully you liked some of the information we gave you and found it useful. If you do like what you're seeing, please give us a subscribe and a like below. We're going to keep bringing you more stuff from Riviera Maya. We have done about a dozen resorts, and those videos are coming soon. Stay tuned.